station.
What's going on YouTube? My name is Spencer Berke and I am a marketing director out here in Orange County, California for an exotic car dealership known as iLusso. We're part of the Ferrari and Lamborghini of Orange County branch, and we specialize mostly in high-end hypercars, supercars, and anything along the lines of a specialty version of a vehicle. Today what I wanted to do is go over a quick example of what it's like to shoot inventory photos for a dealership and hopefully give you guys an insight on what it's like to be an inventory photographer for a car dealership, and also give you some of my tips and advice and things here and there about Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, and overall social media marketing. I have a lot of people who ask me on all my social media outlets on pretty much what I do and how I operate my job. One of the main things I get asked the most is how I shoot inventory photos. So what I wanted to do today is share pretty much my process with you guys, which I haven't done before over the last 7 years of working for brands like Bugatti, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, Bentley, and McLaren, and other high-end brands. Now I'm strictly with an independent who pretty much specializes in every other kind of vehicle you could imagine. So yesterday I shot a Porsche 918. Last week I had shot Pagani Huayra. So the range of vehicles is very far from the normal, but nonetheless, every car is pretty much the same in how you position, how you shoot, how you line up for an inventory photo shoot. So what I'll do is, if you're looking for a job in the future as far as being a photographer for inventory for a dealership, or you already work for a dealership and you're looking to kind of tighten up a little bit here and there, this is my video to give you guys the idea of how I operate, my process, and how I do my structuring behind my photography. What I'll do now is I'm actually gonna do a voiceover over this time lapse of me shooting this Porsche GT3RS, which is a beautiful color. It is a little bit of a tough color to shoot. You will have to do a little bit of touch up in Photoshop and Lightroom if you don't have any experience with it. I highly recommend watching some YouTube videos on pretty much how to do editing in basic Lightroom. I use CS5 and CS6 Lightroom and Photoshop, and for this movie I just use iMovie, which is free with any Mac computer. So I'm hoping you guys take something from this video, even if you're not a photographer or you're not into the car industry and you wanted to watch some cool little entertainment here and there on a quick tutorial, which I've been meaning to do, so I'm happy to finally do one for you guys. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also subscribe. I do almost daily vlogs on my life as a supercar photographer, and also my personal life of business adventures and health and anything along the lines of a daily lifestyle. So once again, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Alrighty, so welcome to the first voiceover slash commentary. Wanted to start off this video with doing just a quick warm-up for the car. Now this car, I was a little bit hesitant at first with shooting it at this location. I do have another location that I can shoot at, but this car is very mileage sensitive. I believed it had about 70 miles on it. So I just wanted to be a little bit sensitive on how much I would drive the car. Now here in this clip, I will basically show you guys the positioning that I do for pretty much every single vehicle that I shoot. You can see there's my BMW to the right. I had it parked up on the roof, and this was kind of a good area to store my camera equipment because it was about 90 degrees this day in the harsh sunlight, which shooting in the sunlight is a little bit tough sometimes, especially with a car of this color. Typically the red and the orange colors will tend to look a little bit different. It's hard to get the true color of the vehicle in direct sunlight, but also it's a little bit harder to in a shaded area. But today I decided to shoot the car in the harsh sunlight and kind of play around in Photoshop and Lightroom to really get the true color of the car. But the main idea behind this shot right here is to get the driver side facing to the right and shooting the car head on. Now this is going to be your main shot for your thumbnail on your website. So if you go to the inventory page, or you go to eBay, or you go to cars.com, this should be your first photo. Now, the reasoning behind why this should be your first photo is this is really going to show you that side profile and also the front profile, and it'll highlight some of the things on the car such as the gunmetal wheels, the wing, the front splitter, and the color itself. And the background, for me, I'm not too happy with it with the power lines, but you can always use post-processing to get rid of the power lines or really bring out some more color in those bushes or whatever it is. So right here in this clip, you can't really see it, but I'm actually taking a few different Snapchats on Snapchat in general. And this is something that I think is really important for your audience, is that you give live updates throughout the day on what you're doing, give a behind the scenes look, and we'll talk about Snapchat in a later video. But you can see here, getting some detail shots of the headlight and also the wing. This is going to be used for a few of the pictures later in the set. This will give your customer or your potential customer a better view of just some cooler shots with this angle. Now, I do different detail shots in the video later on, but this lighting here, I felt like it looked really, really good. Now, for your second position is going to be a shot of the car head on. Now, this shot is very important that you really focus on making sure you keep track of what your focal length is at, only due to the fact that if you're shooting with a lens that goes to, let's say, 18 or even to 14, if you're shooting super wide angle, if you're shooting too close, the car is going to look very distorted. You want to make sure that you stand, I'd say, here I take about 5 to 6 steps back when I actually go back. I think I noticed that there was a sticker in the windshield. This is another very important thing too, is that if you see any distractions that you can get rid of without having to Photoshop, it's going to save you time in post-processing and overall look better on your Snapchats, on your quick videos that you do for Instagram or anything that's, you know, something you can't put through Photoshop. But here you can see I do one shot of me standing up at my full length. I'm about 6'2", and right here I kneel down to actually get a shot that's a little bit lower. Now, this gives the car a different profile look, and it gives your viewer a different perspective. Now, once again, I pull my phone out to do a live Snapchat update, and also I do Facebook Live videos sometimes, but I think the best thing that you can do for your audience is to really keep them engaged in every way, whether it's a potential customer or a fan online through a social media platform. So the more that you do, the more consistent you are, the bigger your database is going to become. And even if you're shooting a car really quickly, it's best to get 1 or 2 shots for Snapchat, or try to do some kind of live Periscope, Facebook video, or get some kind of content for social media. Now, for the third position, you want to pull the car so it's completely parallel to the wall you're shooting against, or with the car completely parked sideways. Now, this angle is extremely important because this is going to be your profile shot, and you're actually going to be able to get 3 photos knocked out for this shot, if not more. Now, keep in mind, this is my advice. This is how I've been shooting cars for a very long time. What I'll do is I will always make sure that I am standing in the same spot no matter what, but the car is always going to move into a different direction. The reasoning behind this is due to the fact that I am very, very, very strict about my consistency throughout all of my photography and all of my photos that I do for different dealerships. Now, you can see here, I step back until I see the car can get fully into the frame, and I'll actually zoom in just a little bit just to make sure that nothing is distorted because of the lens that I'm shooting on. To give you guys a little bit of information about myself, if you don't keep up with me on my social media or you don't know who I am, I don't have any background in photography as far as schooling or any kind of classes. I've always been very much self-taught through YouTube. So all of these tips and techniques are pretty much through the ways that I have learned and my personal advice. But here you can see, this is where it gets a little bit more important, is that I'm shooting the front wheel and also the rear wheel from the same style. So same profile shot from the side. And the importance behind that is the fact that you have the same lighting at the same angle on the car. That way you're going to keep that consistency that I always say is so important. Now, once again, just doing a few more of the detail shots, I noticed that this car had some cool vents on the side, and also the brakes on the car looked very cool up close. So did a few detail shots throughout the entire shoot, and this is basically going to give you a few different options and some variety towards the end of your photo set, such as having different detail pictures. But here, once again, more Snapchat photos and Instagram pictures, a little bit of a behind the scenes look that doesn't have that insane professional look. Now, I know that the high quality digital SLR photos help a lot with Instagram posts or for Facebook pictures, but when you have photos from a cell phone that are on your phone, able to update right away, it gives a new perspective for the viewer to see the car itself and also a behind the scenes look at a dealership. For the next setup, for the next photograph, what we want to do is we want to position the car so we can get a 3/4 shot from the back passenger side. What this is going to do is, as you guys remember earlier in the video, we had already shot the car from the 3/4 front driver's side. Now when we show the 3/4 rear passenger side right here, you can see it's going to show the body lines of the car, that vent over that rear wheel, and also some more of the body lines that run throughout the entire car. This view is really going to help your potential customer or your viewer understand every angle of the car, and there's nothing really repetitive. So you're not shooting the driver's side 10 different times. You're not shooting the car in the same position over and over again. This is really giving you the variety of not showing the car the same time over and over again. It's just a way of shooting the car and giving different aspects for your potential customer. Once again, more live Snapchats and Instagram photos. I can't express the importance enough of having more content than you would imagine. This will really give you content to post throughout the entire week and also to post as live updates. So now we are coming to almost an end of the exterior photo shoot. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to park the car head on towards the wall. This is going to allow us to shoot the car from the back. Now this is going to give the perspective of the rear of the car, obviously, and there's a few different ways that you can do this. Now, as you saw in the video earlier, I was standing at my full length, standing straight up, shooting the car straight down, and then also kneeling down and getting that different perspective. Right here is the shot of me standing straight up. This gives a very good perspective on the wing, on the body lines, on that rear fender, on some of the aerodynamics throughout the car, and also the exhaust. This one here shows a little bit more of how tall the wing is and also through the back of the window. Right here, a quick detail shot of the exhaust and also some of the engine. And basically throughout this, I was looking around trying to figure out what else I can do, but it really wrapped up very quickly after just getting those 5 to 10 exterior photos that are very consistent, and that's really all you need. I think that if you can gather a good set of quality photos for your viewer, that you don't have to take 40 photos of the car. You can really wrap it up between 8 to 15, depending on which car it is. Now that's going to do it for the exteriors. We will go ahead and move on to the interior photos. For this portion of the video, I want you to focus on the light coming in through the window, overlooking the steering wheel, and on my left leg, you can see it slowly starting to disappear as I turn the car away. And this is extremely important due to a few different reasons. I'll go ahead and play that clip once again in slow motion, just so you can see what I'm doing. But you really want to make sure that the back of the car is facing the sun, or the sun is facing the back of the car. This is going to help get rid of any kind of shadows, as you can see here on the door, that may make the interior look untrue to the actual color that it is, such as a lighter color. You also want to make sure that you do not leave the keys in the ignition, or that you don't have anything on the floor, such as any kind of protective mat or anything that can distract the viewer from the actual car. The first picture that we will start with will be the interior door shot on the driver's side. This will give the potential customer a view of the texture of the door and also a little more detail around the window switches and the door handle. The second picture will be towards the dashboard and the steering wheel. You can see right there I was actually talking to the camera and I was saying don't forget about the polarizer. Now the polarizer is going to help you with reflections off of the radio and off of the gauge display. Sometimes when you shoot that angle, you can't actually see through the screen itself or through the glass, so you have to use a polarizer. If you don't know what that is, feel free to check out my video. It's in the description box of what a polarizer does. One of the next photos that you want to get is the driver side seat, basically showing the bolsters, the stitching, and the overall look from the mirror on the driver's side facing the seat, and as you saw before, towards the dashboard, towards the driver's steering wheel. The next photo that you want to get would be the VIN number plate. Now, a lot of people can save this for the end of the photo shoot, but I tend to do it in the middle just so I do not forget. On this car, it was on the inside of the door jamb right there. And most cars will have it on the outside of the inside of the door sill, or the front area by your front left leg inside of the door. One of the things that your potential customers may notice is the attention to detail, so making sure that the steering wheel is completely straight and also that your feet and your knees are out of every shot. Here you can see I'm tucking my head all the way back and getting the shot as far back as I can, and also my legs are hanging outside of the car, and there I'm turning my polarizer to make sure there's no glare on those gauges, as you can see actually in this clip. Here I was getting the shot of the gauges up close, and then also some of the highlights like the PDK transmission, the shifter, the buttons on the center console, and the radio. And here you can see I was trying to get the cup holders to open up to show some attention to detail as far as the trim and also the cup holders themselves. As you go throughout the entire car, you may notice some things like the custom stitching or the Alcantara interior. The cars that you may be shooting could have some kind of contrast stitching. Keep in mind that if you do have the original window sticker with the car, it will show you all the features and all of the extra options. So you can use that to your advantage. You can pretty much go down as a playlist on what you should photograph, such as on this car, some of the options would be the carbon fiber, also a lot of the Alcantara interior, the red seat belts, as you can see on that left passenger seat, the stitching. Those are the kind of things that you can highlight that potential customers may be looking for and that are great to photograph. I also felt like redoing a few shots just to have backups. I wasn't too sure on the lighting, so it's always better to have more than not enough. So that was it for the driver's side. You want to hop on over to the passenger side for a new angle. So for the passenger side, you just have to repeat what you did on the driver's side. Here you can see I am adjusting my polarizer to make sure there's no glare on the radio or on the gauges or even on the windshield. Now that's the main shot you want to get for the passenger side, is a zoomed in of the dashboard and the steering wheel. And here is a detail shot of the headrest showing the stitching and the carbon fiber. Now, if you can, try to access the back seats. It depends on what car you're shooting once again, but this one had a carbon fiber seat option, as you can see there in the photo. So that's it for the passenger side. You're all set. The last shot that you want to get is the engine bay. Now, it's going to differ on any kind of car out there. This car had a lot of carbon fiber covering everything, but it was still an engine photo for the website, and that's pretty much it. So keep in mind, everyone, that this is just the way that I operate. This is how I do my photo shoots. Not everyone has to do it the same way. This has worked for me for a very long time after kind of tweaking it here and there depending on the lighting conditions, the backdrops, and also the cars that I'm shooting. And one of the biggest factors as well is the color of the vehicle. Now, I hope you guys picked up some kind of good information from this video. I'm going to go ahead and let the entire set play right here. Some of the photos that I did not include in the tutorial itself. I know that you guys may have some further questions, so feel free to comment in the comment box below and let me know what you guys are curious about. The main settings that I use for my camera would be full manual settings. I shoot on a Nikon D750 with a 24-70 VR lens from Nikon, and that lens has always played a great part in the high quality photos that I can produce. Now, if you're looking to have a great camera setup, I would highly recommend a full frame body along with a very good piece of glass. So something high end. Canon works great, Sony works great, Nikon has a lot of great cameras. That's what I'm the most familiar with. So if you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything in the comment box below, or feel free to go in the description box and get my email and shoot me a personal email. Like I said before, this is the way that has worked best for myself and for the dealerships that I work for. I know there's a million other ways to Photoshop the background or the car or some of the reflections, but for me, this is what works right now. This is what is working for the current dealership that I'm with. It's quick, it's very efficient. It takes roughly between 20 to 25 minutes per car to edit, and to shoot is about 20 to 25 minutes depending on the size of the car and also the color. Sometimes the background's a little bit hard to work with. Sometimes the reflections just don't work right, so I have to adjust my camera. But overall, for these kind of shoots, it takes about an hour per car. But all that matters is that at the end of the day, you're having fun, that you're enjoying what you're doing. And for me, I love what I do every single day. It's not really work to me. It's just a day of having fun, and I get to shoot these amazing cars and also share it with the world. So I really hope that this gives you guys a direction if you're looking to become a photographer for a car dealership. that this gives you a good structure when you approach the dealership, that you feel much more confident, and that this will create consistency, because that's what you want for a website, is showing that someone will recognize your photos even if they don't see a logo or they don't see a website. They know that that car was shot at that dealership because they know your style, and that will create a consistent photographer and consistent skill that will take you very far in your career. So with that being said, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody for watching this video. I hope once again that you guys learned something from this. This is a new style that I'd like to approach and that I would like to continue to do in the future with future cars and future photo shoots. So thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe and press the thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next video.